Hey there, in this video we'll be talking about HR business partner interview questions and answers. My name is Josh, I'm the founder of HR University. I have over 6 years of HR experience and I'm a certified HR professional. And I want to make the process as easy as possible for you to get your HR business partner job by taking you through a couple of interview questions and their respective answers. But before we dive into this journey, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of all future instructional videos from HR experts. Now with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start by jogging our memories about who is an HR business partner. The definition of an HR business partner is an experienced human resource professional who works directly with an organization's senior leadership. They develop and direct an HR agenda that closely supports organizational goals. You never know what kind of question is thrown at you in the interview process because of the position that this is. However, you can still prepare to a large extent. You must go prepared for both the technical and people-related questions. And I'll help guide you on this journey so you can get hired as an HR business partner by watching this video. And it's not guaranteed, but you'll have a much better chance. Now let's go ahead and jump into some real-life examples of an interview situation that you may come across in your first time heading for that job interview. So let's say 2 to 3 panelists are sitting in the hiring manager's office. One of them is a hiring manager. Jason comes in before the interview time and he waits, and then he's called in. And the hiring manager says, "Hello Jason, pleased to meet you. My name's Sarah. My colleagues are Jim and Aaron." And the interviewee says, "Hi, I'm Jason. Nice to meet all of you." Jason sits down for the interview. Sarah begins, "Tell me a bit about yourself." Don't start by bragging about yourself right away. You want to go ahead and take a deep breath and speak comfortably about your journey so far. After a couple of nods and acknowledgement, Jim asks a question of his own. "How do you promote diversity in the workplace?" Jason replies with confidence. "To leverage the effects of diversity, we must implement the diversity and inclusion initiative first. That happens when a company's mission, strategies, and practices support a diverse workplace. To be successful, diversity and inclusion has to be a top to bottom business strategy and not just an HR program. I will promote diversity by understanding and demonstrating sensitivity to culture, religion, and sexual orientation issues. In doing so, I will show a strong grasp of laws and regulations as well." And there we saw an example in which Jason let his experience and knowledge do the talking. Let's look at another example here. Beth came in for an HR BP interview. The hiring manager, Allison, was quick to share a smile with her before starting on the questions. After asking a couple of initial questions, Allison was very interested to know Beth's answer to her go-to question. She says, "Tell me about a time you failed." Beth says, "We all have failures. We all have conflicts, and we all make mistakes." It's important to remember that the interviewer here is looking for whether a candidate is being honest and if they learned from the situation. Beth keeps it real and shares her recent failure with Allison. The thing to note here is the interviewer's intent and your honest response to it. And then we have 2 real-life examples of questions and answers in a human resource business partner interview. The HR structure differs from organization to organization, so there's a good chance they won't have every HR position. That's why the HR business partner position is usually found in medium to large-sized businesses and enterprises. Moreover, this position is a senior level job position. In any case, regardless of its less frequent presence, the HR business partner's duties and tasks remain the same. It's crucial to prepare for the HR business partner interview beforehand, no matter how much experience you may think that you have. Let's begin with the first question. But keep in mind, the HR business partner job description varies, so your interview questions may change slightly because of different organizational structures and industries. So here's question 1. Why are you applying for the HR business partner position? Let's look at the answer. When you go over the introductory phase of the interview, the first question the recruiter will ask you is why you're applying for the position. This isn't a trick question. It's only asked to see your initial reaction and whether you've appropriately prepared for the interview, as is expected. Answering this question is how you establish a strong base for the entire interview. That's why it's critical to start with why this opportunity and job are right for you. It's important to be convincing so the recruiter believes you want the HR business partner position in their company. The ideal way to answer this question is to delve into your HR career and background. Start by mentioning the reason you got into HR as a career and why you decided to pursue it further. Since you're already pretty experienced, you have to develop a solid base by giving strong reasoning for your decision to become an HR professional. Go into the details of your HR career, talk about your first HR role, and how your career path went on after it. Mention any career goals you achieved and what else you aim for. After that, you should mention that the HR business partner position is the next logical step in your career path, especially if you've gone through the senior manager phase. Furthermore, it will be better to mention that getting a position in that particular company would be the ideal career choice because of how that company aligns with your interests, your other goals, whatever that may be. An HR business partner's job responsibilities stand for strategically achieving organizational goals. When they align HR goals with that of an organization, success becomes inevitable. An HR business partner is set to sustain a company at many levels such as economic, environmental, and social by introducing innovative, bureaucratic, and supportive culture. They have the full support of an HR analyst who, from time to time, assist the HRBP with useful data in the form of prescriptive, predictive, diagnostic, descriptive, and novice analytics. Feel free to pause the video here and take a minute to look at this image. If there's anything you'd like to ask, please leave a comment below the video and I'll make sure to go ahead and answer it. Now let's go ahead and move on to question number 2. Are you currently applying for any other jobs or positions? Many recruiters want to know what other roles or jobs you've applied for to gauge how serious you are about the position. While you can choose not to answer this question, it's best to do so with complete honesty. That's because the answer helps the recruiter determine the following 2 things: the level of dedication you have to build your HR career further, and the level of dedication to build your career at their particular company. For example, if you applied for a senior marketing or finance position, that would tell the recruiter you're not completely invested in HR. Alternatively, if you've applied for other HR positions, that's always a good sign to them. More importantly, at this level of your career, they would be checking what other industries or company types you've applied to. For example, if you've developed an HR career in the automobile industry, it would be better if you applied to other automobile companies for the same or similar position. Furthermore, if you apply to non-competitor companies, you should mention that too. That tells a recruiter that you're only focused on their company in that space. Now we've come to our third question. It says, according to you, what would a typical HR business partner position entail? The HR business partner role is an advanced role that goes way beyond typical HR roles because you're directly working with senior management. Roles like the HR generalist, HR manager, and HR coordinator have a straightforward job description, but the HR business partner role can change depending on the organization. At this point, all the job descriptions and requirements are custom developed by the HR team of the company. That's because advanced roles like the HRBP need to be direct and to the point. In any case, as a human resources business partner, you should know all the relevant HR roles and what they do, including your own. That's why you should have a clear idea of what the company needs from you as an HRBP. Make sure you relay all of that and explain how you would manage each task and responsibility. It's also helpful to research what other companies expect from HR business partners. It would help you develop a complete idea of the scope of the job. You could also present the recruiter with any extra duties you can and should do as an HRBP to impress them. It's crucial to display that you have an exact idea of what to expect with the job. If you're interested in landing your dream HR job, then check out our HR certification courses, where we have them on everything from diversity and inclusion to HR management and an HR generalist course. And these certifications can greatly help you stand out in the interview process. There are also other certifications from other well-renowned organizations, such as SHRM, that can help you stand out. So make sure to look at your options there. And question number 4 on this list is, do you think you're adequately skilled to become a human resource business partner? The skills question is often asked to assess whether you believe you're adequately equipped for the job. This is your chance to show the recruiter that you've prepared for this role and show them that you have the necessary knowledge and skills required to become an HRBP. You should talk about great problem solving, research and analytical and communication skills, and real life examples of how you applied them. You have to talk about all of those key attributes while mentioning specific things such as HR functions you can do, overall competency, any assistance you've given in things like business strategy, people management, and more, understanding of various metrics and reports, developing an HR agenda, and using HR software. Since you can't provide an accurate representation of your skills, this is the next best way to showcase those skills. In any case, avoid mentioning the skills directly and never talk about how skilled you are. Try to prove it by, again, mentioning your prior experience and projects you've worked on and real life case studies. Anything that can make it more tangible, because people care about what you do, not what you say. Before we move ahead, these are some of the skills recruiters expect an HRBP to be proficient at. Feel free to pause the video and reflect on all of these competencies. Leave your questions about any of them below. Let's go ahead and name them from this image. We have communication, relationship management, ethical practice, HR expertise, business acumen, critical evaluation, global and cultural effectiveness, leadership and navigation, and finally we have consultation. All of these are areas where your recruiters expect you to show your expertise. Now we've come to question number 5. Do you believe you're qualified to become an HR business partner, and why? This is a question to throw you off balance, especially if you're answering the questions confidently. It's an easy situation. You already know you're qualified because otherwise they wouldn't have called you for the interview. Therefore, you don't have to worry about providing your worth all over again. So casually start to talk about your overall qualifications in your career. That includes your education and any certifications and courses you might have done over the years. You can also mention any certifications you've done on other subjects like social media, project management, and other related verticals to HR. After that, start to mention prior experience and what you worked on and what worked the most. For example, you can talk about talent acquisition, retention, employee relation issues, and more. Talk about any unique policy issue or professional task you worked on. If you talk about tasks and duties that are also part of the HRBP job description, that's even better. That way you'll be directly providing them proof that you know how to manage those duties. The 6th question that we have on our list of HR business partner questions is, have you worked on any HR strategy that was designed to support organizational business strategies? At this point, the recruiter will start to ask technical questions directly related to the HRBP role. It's best to prepare for these questions beforehand by going through various topics, examples, and posts by other HR business partners. This particular question gauges whether you have the appropriate experience and knowledge to jump right into the mix and start working. Furthermore, it helps recruiters assess your process and how you manage to work on HR strategies. The question here focuses on your understanding of business strategy in general and how it's associated with HR. You should display a complete understanding of what business strategy is and how you can assist in developing it. Here we continue to look at the answer to question number 6. You should talk about the appropriate method for assessing existing strategies in the company. Using that information, you should talk about what the HR department can do differently to further support the overall business. Most importantly, mention the right way of measuring the results of said strategies. Now we're on to our 7th question, which is, was there any instance where you took an unpopular stance on something you believed was a right strategy for the company? This question aims to see what kind of a leader you are and how you express your opinions. Some people tend to keep their opinions and stances to themselves, even if they're right. If you're one of the people who tend to give your opinion and take a solid stance, this is your opportunity to prove it. Great companies value different opinions and strategies. Therefore, if there has ever been any situation where you had to take an unpopular stance based on your beliefs, explain that entire situation to the recruiters. Then explain why you kept your stance, why you believed it was right, and what you did about it. And last thing here is mention what happened at the end of the situation. During this time, try to display a knowledge of key business, industry, and economic trends. Explain the importance of making data-based decisions and why it's crucial when taking risks. We are now down to our 8th and last question. How do you manage the work of an HRBP, everything from the strategic to the tactical side of things? The question is there so you can summarize what you've mentioned throughout the interview in one single answer. That's because you'll be talking about the HRBP roles, duties, your process, resources, and your overall career. On this side, I'll continue to answer the 8th question. The best way to answer this question is by talking about a structured approach to work prioritization. That means setting up deadlines, following up, and managing time with the management team. After that, you should talk about your creative method and how you use it to manage resources. Try to mention various resources and tools like HR software, project management tools, and more that you've used in the past and that were able to make you effective. Also, try to list down the differences between working reactively and proactively, and also talk about the importance of feedback on both ends. And there we have it. That wraps up our answer to this final question. Now we're almost at the end of this video. It's time to talk about how to ace the HRBP interview. It's relatively easy to find general interview tips, questions, and answers online, but it's hard to find information on the interview process of a specific job like HRBP. To get a job offer today, job seekers need to go above and beyond in their interviews. It doesn't matter if the job interview only has situational questions, you need to prepare for all sorts of questions. It's hard to find out exactly what the interview will be about, but you can demand a rough idea from the hiring manager. In any case, you have to show the recruiter that you deserve the HR business partner salary. So polish up on your HR skills and knowledge, and then look at the questions and answers above to develop appropriate responses. After doing all that, you'll know exactly how to tackle the HR business partner interview questions. And there we have it. We just discussed 8 of the most popular and common HR business partner interview questions and their answers. And with that said, I wish you the best of success in landing your HR business partner role and the best of success in your HR career as well. And I'll see you on our other videos. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and like it and subscribe to our channel. Cheers.